trying to do today, we got this Mothers United thing going on, but there's a gap with male support. You understand? Obviously, all of these children have got fathers, but some of their fathers might not be with it, or might not know where to start or where to help. Do you understand? So the mothers and the women have already made lots of like small pocket get-togethers. But what we want to do is we want to make it across the board. And with the mothers, they need help with males. Do you understand? When their teenage boys get to a certain age, if their fathers are not at or not with it or working or don't have the time, we want to get a pool of volunteers, young men that have either had experience or passionate or who have got, you know what I mean, who know what time it is, that can mentor people. We also want to get businesses, you understand, Somali businesses that are willing to give these guys an opportunity. So when they go through the mentoring and they get the support, if they choose to make that change as well. But we want to bring up, we want to help ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
The question I want to ask you is that what is needed is like, what's the essential?
For now, what we want is a list of people to tell us what borough you're in, your name and your contact details, email or telephone number, and your availability. You understand how much time you're willing to give, and then what areas you think that you have got experience in. So drug and alcohol. If you think you can get people work, if you think you're good at violent crime, gang crime. If you've been stabbed, if someone you know has been stabbed or whatever like that, and you can mentor or self-defense, show man that look, every man's been through this, being fear of a violent crime at one time of his life. Do you understand? And how, you guys have come across it. You understand? Because, you understand? And we have to make sure that these kids know that it happened to all of us. It's something normal and they can come out of it. They don't need to take a knife. They don't need to join a gang. They don't need to do all of these things. You understand? There's other ways out and there's support out there. You understand?
Sorry, sis. Is this only for Somali boys though, or are you doing it for Somali girls?
You know what? For now, we have to. You know what? Yeah.
Well, add you to the group chat. We've got a group chat.
You know what I believe? Yeah. Like I believe the Sunnah is my guide, and the Sunnah says charities. You have to start with yourself. Then you have to start with your family. Then you have to start with your neighbor. So on and so forth. So for me to get to East Africa is a good thing, but I'm not there yet. You understand? I'm not there yet. I'm not even there in Somalia yet. I'm here with the Somali diaspora right now, with my mums that you understand are looking up to me, which is not first generation, but nearly first generation. Do you understand? That can bridge the gap between the youngers and the elder mums who are just clueless, but they got the money, they got the time, they got the tears, they got the du'as, they got the salahs. Do you get what I'm saying? All they need is the young guy, males. And I said to them, there's uncles, there's cousins. It doesn't always have to be the particular father. Do you know what I mean? Or there could be like extended community. Do you understand? So what we need to do is get a list, and I'm hoping within the next 6 months that I get. We want to train 2 of the mentors that we get, and then we want those mentors to train the other mentors in each borough. So they're going to be trainers of trainers. So if we get Mentor in UK, I've proposed to them that they train 2 of our mentors, and then we train them. So in 6 months' time, we want to be able to outreach to Mothers United who have gone to different boroughs and say to them, we've got a force of males to support you, mother. So we were thinking of making like a hotline, a number for each borough, so that if the mothers have like a young boy who's run away or been in a police station or got arrested, that's the best time for intervention, because that's the time where they're willing, when you're in trouble, that's when you're willing to listen. But when everything's going well and you're not in trouble and you think you can get away with it, you're not listening. So we think the first doors into these teenagers is the first signs of trouble at school, at college, their first arrest, those kind of things. I think there's a few aspects, yeah? No, we haven't looked into it, but from my own personal experience, I've only done my Toba 5 years ago. I'm a big woman. I've grew up in this country. We're dealing with a lot nowadays, you understand? All of us, yeah, we're big, we're all dealing with it, do you understand?
True.
But it just depends on what resources you have and what support you have. That's what the cut above the best. you know what I mean? We're all equal, but some are more equal than others, depending on who's around them, what they know, and who they know. You understand? So this is what we're saying. We want to give people more information so they know more, so they know what they're doing, and who they know support to go to. Human resources are the best resources you could have. You understand? Yeah? And we all have this natural fitra, this natural light inside of all of us that, you know, energizes, and we, you know, it can multiply, and you know, good energy bounces off of each other. Do you know what I mean? So if we get this momentum going, one person like me, if I get 5 of you lot going, you lot 5, it multiplies like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Just
it
saying
just
really
starts
something
from one
important.
person saying, you know what, we could do this.
You want to create role models?
I want to create role models, and I want to create a support system for the mothers and the young people, yeah? And I also want to give
Young girls.
you know, young men an opportunity, a sort of a path, so that even on the other side there's businesses, there's training. Even one of the boys said that he can get them, you know, the security cards.
Yeah.
That was me.
That was you. Whoa, that is like a big thing. That's towards the end stages, but it is one of the, like, you know, when
Key
they say in
points.
sales,
Yeah.
the close is the most important, closing the deal. Do you get me? Because you made all of that effort. If you don't finish it off, then it's a wasted effort. Do you get me?
How far you would
The whole system, what we've got with mothers, we've got 3 sections. We've got mothers where we're supporting, giving them workshops on how to deal with different
the circle
age
bigger.
groups, like primary school, high school. We're teaching them, we're talking to them about current issues, things, music, what children are dealing with, trap music, you know, everything that they, you know, designer clothes, how, you know, all of these things, you know, and what compels young people. These are the things, the music, the fashion, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the parents have to be a little bit aware. They will never totally understand, because they'll be like, oh, why? But we will let them know, look, this is what it is. Understand or not, you know the reason why now. Do you know what I mean? And then also, the second is prevention and cure. You understand? And prevention is, part of the workshops is prevention, dealing with the mothers, giving them ideas of how to deal with different situations. But the second bit is the cure, which is the mentoring. So when a young boy is already in it, so he's already in violence, he's already in drugs, alcohol, he's already in it, then we want to, depending on what stage he's at, even up to prison. Now, one of the girls, Zainab, is doing an initiative in Feltham. She's got her own 10 volunteers, and she's doing her own thing, and it's very good. There's another youth prison that's got a lot of Somalians, Aylesbury. We want to hook up with that one as well, you understand? So one of these volunteers that we get might be apt for that. So that's the 3 sections that we're dealing with. But the main thing we found is bridging the gaps, is young people, young mothers like me, young women like me, young men like you guys, that need to bridge the gap between the youngers and the oldest. And if we don't do it now, if we don't catch this generation, we can forget Somali no more, your Somali identity, your DNA, your E1B121. Forget that. You get me?
E1B121.
Yeah, inshallah. You know what I mean? I'm just joking. Yeah. So, inshallah, all of you lot, if anyone who's interested, in a number kinasiya, speakers corner, like you know, put your email, contact details, and like I said,
Put your number, bro.
You know what I think? I think young people need an alternative to going uni or something like that. They need an alternative.
training. They need training.
Catch some disease.
Ethiopian guys, right?
One day he'll get his comeuppance. His throat swells up and he can't even talk.
Yeah.
You've got 3 doors.
Yeah.
There is
3
no-
too, yeah?
I feel like young people, they need to realize that young Somalis need to know how to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They need to be taught how to maybe make the own, like, okay, you want to trap, you want to make money, but show them a good way of...
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Trapping is a business. I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of the day, it's demand. It's supply and demand. That's what it is. So that's what I used to say, because the reason why the Somalian boys were taking over and now they're a target as well is because they work 24 hours and they really work really hard to get this business going. If only they would use that same effort and that same work ethic, into mobile phones, like, or You know what I'm trying to say?
Bro, you didn't say a word, man. You couldn't remember that. We had to remember that, man. Let's tell you.
Wallah, nigga, I'm lost for words,
Yeah.
man.
One sec.
I did not
That
prepare.
was distracting from the trapping life. They'll make money here.
But this is why Somali Wealth was coming up. We were supposed to get a directory of all Somali businesses across the UK and things like that. Even Somali Wealth put up that thing about that World Remit guy, which is really good. You know, for us to spread the word. You know, we always talk about bad things. We need to start talking about good things as well. This is one thing I said to the mothers. One of the mothers was like, Somali the way about and this, that. And I was like, no, stop that. Do you know what I mean? She's like, we don't have history, and I was like, stop that. And I done the E1, B1, B1 thing on them. You know what I mean? And I was like, so I changed the mood. Do you know what I mean? So, this is what we need to do, and for now, we have to be specific instead of making it to a big task. We can make it specific by saying each one of us is going to deal with our local borough. Yeah, we're going to see who's doing what in our local borough, and we're going to make it so that because we wanted to do our own thing in Brent and Harrow, but when we went and saw what they're doing in Hammersmith and Fulham, we said we're just gonna umbrella what you're doing. We're just gonna copy exactly what you're doing, and we're gonna use your name and your initiative. Do you know what I mean?
Did this all come out of because of the knife crime, or is it?
It came up with it started with one of the mothers whose son died. Yeah, and he died a horrible death, and no one done anything about it, even the police and the events leading up to it. So they did this, but they're just really humble women that are just passionate but have got no actual experience and don't know where to go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you know what? Just to simplify it, I think the two things that you touched on, absolutely spot on in terms of mentoring.
Yeah.
So they just need like a guidance, like a father figure.
Yes.
And secondly, a job, a purpose in life.
Yeah.
I think if they can get those two things, like you have.
I would like to add something to that. Yeah, I think one of the main reasons why the youth go through what they go through. I'm gonna pass it on to you after that. Yeah.
Me, I don't.
So the reason why the youth go through what they go through, one of the things that I think is because they lost who they are. Like for example, not all of them. Some of them are just like trying to, be like everybody else, join society. But also there are those who've been here for like many years, like their parents, and sometimes they don't even know their culture, their history, where they come from, who they are.
Identity crisis.
Identity crisis. That's a major problem. You get me? So what I'm thinking, because me, I've never been through any gang-related stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always like to talk about background, history, identity.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm willing to help.
I spoke to one of my friends about music and all of this, and his name's Akila. I don't know if you lot know him.
Okay.
And he used to do like the Ruwaida back in the days. And I said, can we bring the talent shows back and stuff? Where people can do talent shows and things like that, where the youth will be interested a little bit more in doing some kind of artistic, exerting there. Even sports. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. This is another thing. We've got a football club in Brent. We've got one in Fulham. We've got about 3 coaches that we want to get together so that we can make something solid, like football and also arts, music. Give them a workshop where they can come and chat, but encourage them positive lyrics. Maybe lyrics to talk about their history, where they come from, where they want to go. Give it a little bit more, give them conscientious, give them maybe a tool to think with. Use the music to think, to actually identify where you are, what you are, but in a positive sense. So maybe but the main thing now is I want to get the mentors, then I want to get the mums. Another thing we're doing is making the mums talk. Because there's a lot of mums that are hiding with their pain. You understand? And what we're giving them is we're giving them prowess to say, we know that your boys might bore you. They might say to you like, don't tell me nothing, shut up, move. You know what I mean? Some of the mums are scared. We have to understand this as well. When they get these mentors, they might get a little bit of prowess. Do you know what I mean? To say, what are you here? Heavily like my right hand on toilet. Do you get me? It's a little bit, but it's a lot. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. So when we get that, and then we have a database of youth coming forward and speaking to the mentors, then we can go to the sports, training, music. We'll set up those 3 parts as well as a way out, as an alternative. But first, what we're trying to do is get them to speak out, identify who, where, and who's going to support it, who's going to deal with it.
See that brother there with that brother is really good at this. He knows. He's a really. Let me call him. Give me a
Come here,
sec.
man. Come here.
The camera can't see us, innit? Can see you lot.
No. But come towards the microphone, though.
You can probably see the tip of your head.
Liban, man, we need you.
Who's it?
Tell him.
You know, why? Alaikum salam, yeah, we were just talking about the situation, the current situation that's going on. What we want is everyone here to spread the word that there's a gap in male mentors. There's a Mothers United going on here, pockets everywhere, but we really need an army, a strong army of young volunteers, men that are willing to, whatever experience they have, either if it's experience with drugs, alcohol, that violent crime, you know, whatever, even if they've got a passion to help their youngers and they've got experience and maybe they haven't exactly been through it, but they have been through it through school, through the society.
Yeah, that's why I called you, so you can speak to the sister. And you know, because the way you spoke to me last time, the way you spoke was really nice. So I think you also have some, like, I think you relate to this kind of issues. So it would be if you was helping out, it would be a really good thing. Because
are you doing anything like that, or is it something you wanted to do?
I do things a little bit off the book, so not part of any organisation, but it's more like at grassroots level.
Yeah.
So with a lot of the youth from my area. Generally, actually, just funny enough, the other day I was in Ealing, the Somali boy. I was coming out of the masjid, I was coming out of Salah, and then on the main road, it's Oxford Road, and a guy did his handball. CID stopped the Somali youth, he was on the corner. You come from the masjid as well, yeah? Tuesday he's wearing his Canada Goose jacket, it looks a bit like a road band, cool, but they took a split-second decision to stop and search him. So the car, imagine this is a scenario, they're driving, they've taken one look, yeah, stopped the car and jumped out on him and they said, we're searching you because we may think you have a blatant article. Now for police to jump out on you, there has to be either a member of the public...
Suspicious.
Yeah, suspicion. Either a member of the public has raised an issue and said, you know, this person I've seen with a blatant article, or they have reasonable doubt to suspect you having a blatant article. By looking at someone and straight away thinking, you know what, you may have a blatant article, that's not enough. Do you know what I mean? That's not policing by consent. Do you know what I mean? You know? So yeah, the kid was...
That's profiling.
That's profiling, yeah, at its best, isn't it? So yeah. So the kid's about 7 years old, doesn't know nothing about the law, felt really intimidated. So I thought, you know, give me your phone, I'll record the scene for you, innit, to keep you protected, innit? So the police officers, they tried to usher me away at first. I said, no, I'm a concern of the public. I want to document what's going on and make sure that you guys are policing well.
Yes.
So I policed basically I recorded the whole entire scene. And then once I got the cameras out, they started behaving differently.
Yes.
Then they wanted to turn on their own body cameras.
Yes.
And at first, the whole interaction, their body cameras weren't on. The red light wasn't showing in it. So just to keep the young Somali kids safe and that, and then I can start highlighting some issues, how young Somali men, young black men, young people from a vain background feel very polarised, disenfranchised by the police because they're stop and search methods. Tuesday, with the current climate of London, how London is like right now, with the whole stop and search thing and the knife crime, but it's whenever they want to talk about when black kids or Asian kids are doing it, race is involved.
Oh, yeah.
But when it's a white perpetrator and a white victim, suddenly race is not an issue.
Yeah, it's a soul, it's a family problem, mental health issue.
Yeah. Not to say that there isn't white victims, there are.
Of course, but we know the situation where they use it, especially certain authorities, media. Yeah.
So, the whole situation took half an hour. Afterwards, when the police left, I engaged in a conversation with one of the sergeants. I spoke to him, dropped some knowledge in this guy. He was actually reasonable. The two other colleagues were a bit douchebags. I had to just put them in their place. And afterwards, I stayed with them Somali kids for a whole hour, spoke to them. I gave them a book to download for them to buy. It's called the Black's Law Dictionary.
Fantastic.
Everything about stopping searches and
that's what
verbal
lawyers use,
contracts
by
when
the
you
way.
get into the police. Yeah, well, lawyers use, exactly. Something that helped me when I was in jail.
Fantastic. Yes, this is what we're talking about. This is very, very useful. This is what I was saying. That people with experience of these things to mentor. You want people to mentor with you?
Just the youth.
Okay. To say, if you two mentors to train for us properly, then they could be trainers of trainers. You guys will train other volunteers that are willing to be mentors. So, like, different people have got different experiences. Obviously, some people have got just a passion. Even that is very, very different. You understand? But right now, we have identified male mentors. Yeah.
I highlighted it last time when I was with you guys. Highlighted all the issues.
But we were supposed to meet the next Sunday, man. What happened?
We was. Like, the last time, I'm so talking to a lot of people. Well, I apologize, but we will sit down.
Well, you definitely. Oh, wait. What you need to do right now? You just say your number, and because Wallah, she needs you, because you have more experience than me, than anybody else. And the way you
Everyone's important, but there's different stages.
Exactly.
Like you would be more in the stages of prevention and cure, but he would be more the end stages of cure. So that this would be more like when we start doing things like training, getting them back into education, into sports. Yeah, go on.
There was trading human beings.
Yeah.
yeah.
Trading.
Yeah.
It wasn't colonization, there was trading. They came to help us. That is how they make it look. We was in problems, so the Arabs came to Africa. They was doing trading. They were selling rings and selling incense and myrrh. Propaganda. And then they get our own people to cover it up, to make it look like they was dealing with something constructive.
True.
They all took our kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
They all took our kindness for weakness.
Yeah, they've done that. They've done that to everybody. They've done that to the natives, to the Aborigines.
And do you know they don't have a native in any part of the planet? You have native Aborigines, native Americans, but you don't have, them have no native nowhere. They're man-made. Anyway, they're going to make trouble. They're troublemakers. They're troublemakers. Anyway, they're going to make trouble. They can't live in peace with no one. And they're speaking of integration. Integration is like entering a house that is on fire. We don't want to integrate with them. Number one, they consume the most alcohol on the planet. As we hear speaking, they're somewhere drinking, what they call it, lager, and watching football. And eating bacon. They don't believe in Bible, neither Quran. They're barbarians. They eat human. They eat raw flesh. I don't want to integrate with them. And I'm telling Islam people, let us integrate with our brothers and sisters on the continent. No, they want to integrate into Europe. That is their prerogative. And I always remember the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his name. He told his followers, when they were persecuting them in Medina, go to the land of Abyssinia. They went to Ethiopia when Islam was a little baby. They went to Ethiopia. They get on what you call, what you feed kids with. They get nourished and now they come strong, they're coming into Europe. And then I always remember one name, Bilal. You know the name Bilal? He was an Ethiopian, right? And he was a follower of the Prophet, right? So we love them, we have connection. But we don't want them to integrate in Europe. We want us to build up a United States of Africa. For me, Islam failed us. Christianity failed us. They both failed us. We need a United States of Africa. And they don't speak this language. Both of them have two things in common. Islam says when you die, you go to Jannah. They both promise you this nice thing, but you must die first.
The thing is, Islam, when Islam came to Somalia, or all the Somali regions, basically it did not ruin us. What it's done to our people, it gave us more power. It gave us more knowledge.
All right.
Because of this knowledge that we received from the Most High, we were able to expand, you know, to the extent that we were rulers over the Maldives Island, you know, rulers over many
It wasn't
East
the same
African.
in Timbuktu. They've been to other parts of Africa, West Africa.
So yeah, so what I'm saying is when the white man came to Somalia, in the 1900s, that's when Somalia started collapsing. That's when we started killing each other. You know? Because
Like some
the
people
thing,
say,
the thing with Islam, it did not contradict with our culture. You know, that's always easy.
Yeah, some people could say that when the Italians went to Ethiopia, they build bridges, they build schools, so that is something good. But then the bad outdo the good.
Yo, Kale, Kale sir. By the way, everybody's behind the camera. For some reason, my Somali people are camera shy. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. You know? So, keep tuning. No, just no. You can over it.
In Russia, they say, 5 years from now. He's come back, yeah, by himself. He went to Ethiopia, he got his embassy and all that stuff, he sorted out. Not fancy. And then he's come back now, he's locked up.
Repeat what you talking. Repeat the start.
Basically, he's saying that the Al is the solution, yeah, and I'm saying that's all gone. That used to be the case.
No, it's one solution, Don't get me wrong. It's one solution. It works for some, and it doesn't work for some.
For
You understand?
example, look, Kenya.
Like yeah, go on, bro.
For example, if you go to Kenya, like I've got friends who were sent to Kenya for Dagan Alis, right? The thing is, or maybe Bosaso, Hargeisa, so
No, Somalia.
Somalia. Exactly. That's وما سنتين. وده الصومالي لودرو وده الصومالي لودرو أم أفريقيا لودرو. بس ما بدلايو. بس خاركود دين تقادنا بس خاركود وكترى عونك دو دروجة لها أنتوا كل جودة دروجة لها ودروجة استعمالها دبات استعمالها حقو حق تقول أصحاب كلا جوتو صومالي أولي يجرب تينكين دروجة استعمالها شو. ناي برو ويلكم اللي يدي كهول سباشي. يرامين لكن مركا أدين نقطة إن لده علي صاروا جينا معقول معها ونقول أنا علم اللي يعلم
ما يقول حتى يكفي عنها don't get me wrong يعني كبر لي عليه يا ولا غيابه he might change غيرانسا it is one solution ما فهمت sometimes you need to take someone out of the society he's in ما فهمتي if you take it out of your like, little area you're in if you're from street and no matter where you're from there well بعدين you see reality
that's different but
it happened to me one time
but it's different I know it's good
well I don't know one صار شيء I come back a different person you understand
brother what she's saying is that
she's saying you should come from the community you understand
no you can do that here
camera shy
it's like
you can do it here but there's no help let me tell you something
exactly but that's what she's supposed to do
there's no help
no
one cares
but that's what we should be doing and let's take a leave out of other communities Pakistan you do that other communities that have gone through this and كبرنا ما فهمت لكن ده الصوماليين هاي solution is always what they give
Maya, that shouldn't be the only solution. It's guidance. No matter where you are, a doing cannot done. Yeah, it comes down to guiding your child, guiding your nephew, you know what I mean, your brother, your uncle, whoever it is. Guidance. Well, that's what it comes down to. It لكن ولا دي شفتوا قف كدي شيء ودن دقن له ودن دين له ولا له helps that's what I'm trying to say to you
أدلك يركض كل يوم يعني أنت مفهوم يعني أنتوا لكن من أجل صاحب وحال أنت غنا أنا مرة بوصل لي جيم مكتئب بون اللي وحري بونك دباتو لي مركا بونك دباتو كله مركا حد سكول لقينا عنقي معلق ودك الدلاء ولو قراعة ولو الدلاء ولو محاول دباتو كنا لو جالسنا
لكن هاي there's someone there guiding you telling you know what this is what you need to do to make your future bright. You understand? These are steps you need to take to that's what it is. Well, remember, that's wrong.
Exactly.
That's wrong. What I Maya, that's
صودك السلطة اللي قحنا سمك وعرّو وسمع الله سلطة
قف سعودي اللي جاي ولا ليه you can't drink you can't do weed none of this وقال صبرك what the for he's going to end up doing all sorts in another land
Exactly
قف ولا قال بحي حلو it's guidance ولا قف ولا شيء قال وحوالة تسام قرنسا you understand that's what it is تمر جايين كاجت again
أد صادق تري والله قوة ذي باجي لو جاي دخل كلو صوب ناس كلو صو أركتي
وصل أنا بعدي يوم بحي لكن أفو you know what let me see how these people live
Exactly
I mean and I see this what they me and they're smiling they got nothing and these people are smiling every day they wake up with a smile you know what I mean بريس your fucking حنكرة أنا عبيد every day and that's it you understand وكاورا لا ويا أرق ولا إنه كفر
بما والله بما بركة أد دور حكي هذا ساعة خنا
يعني فاهمين لكن we're on the same level you know what I mean yeah
okay بركة دو حاس له solution كلام من المسا أنا هنا قاعد
the solution is like we ما دام we haven't got that bond as a Somali community
group chat أنا قدرة Somali corner اللي هذا هالسنة anybody who wants to join the group chat we've got a Somali corner YouTube comment down on one of our videos inshallah I'll send you my email
15-16 brothers
Marco Kudara, we talk about all sorts of stuff, solutions, go on a collet. Man, to hide bro.
He's recording now.
Yo.
Don't tell me he's recording.
Hello, uncle. Sorry.
Was you recording?
Yeah, it was recording.
Bro. You should have told me that.
ايوه dadka xakimada siisay wax badan laga faa'iiday waxaan u shaqay maanta qana wallahi dadku ma sheegay waxa shafiir Soomaali kulli gadaalkiisa ta kaamiro sumaha aniga inta soo istaajiya si uu Soomaali kasta soo u hadlo oo cod ku dhibto Somali corner lagu sheegay open mic way qof kasto Soomaaliya intuu kasta soo saaro والله exactly أنا أصحاب كلوها أبابلني Somali corner ذا أبابلني
أروح نمضي إذا تفسك هايستان Somali لأن يو Somali يو رابش توك you understand
ما توازن كده وحاس أنا Somali أنا
كل قفك جبتي تشجع قفك حمر تشجع وهذا all the same man
هذه هاي اكتمادي ودك مقالك اكتمادي Somali
هرب عنها
برا ما شاء الله
400, 500 years ago, religion did not unite us. Today we're thinking of Pan-Africanism.
وهو اللي جرى كوده بتكلم كل شيء كي محل واحد كل استاجم كحال مش أوبن مايك وسومالي كل اللي سكون كنا واحد سلقها الله ومتخانة دبعت تاريخ ذا واحد سومالي كجرو واحد يوين كهستو مرك ما دام هذا رأي قال دبتي قف سومالي كأركاي هو ما سومالي قدامه نفسه وحلا ما شاء الله رأي في عام وقالن كنا حتى قبل ما يشوفوا معدي إني لون يرون خانة أو أبوه أبو العنتة أما متخانة مجال كتجي أو العلم واي لون يرى فهم كرتو إنه مو حرام صدرت ما حنا دوري إما وسومالي كنا ما وفرنا بس كل شيء وأردت رأيي هذا سي نمر كذي قادتي سماها
ما قادر لكن ما حكلا يقول you know how they do like you know مثل وعدني دين توكل مثلا they have like all these what they call tell me you know لما ساشده مركي do نودا خطبتين وحنا كسبينها وكله
يا هو قصبه
ما لو خصبه مش ما يمخل اسكو يمن يقفكوا ايق they get like text on their WhatsApp and say you know what there's a talk بقى كذا عيب مساج ده over certain subjects and things like that you understand they should do more of that for the youth
lecture
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Cool.
That's what they should do, Brother. To be honest with you. Especially in all the areas where Somali communities
that's a good idea.
I'm telling
but
you.
just because you have the idea doesn't mean that someone else is going to do it.
No one's going to do it. No one's going to do it.
You have the idea, right? Me and you could come together, can bring the people you know, I bring the people I know, and then we could start this.
Yeah, of course.
And then وصلنا كرنا. قد بدنا سكوروري كرنا. أنا لعقتنا جيبكم بحق رجال سكوير كذا. مساجد
ما يا دتك وحلي ولا المدرسة دتك ممكن سكوي ما دام ولا ليه. واحد بدهم يقصن كران. لكن بركة لما قيهين.
يا.
ده ودبات المدرسة.
والله بما.
It's not as easy.
بما والله بما.
You understand?
بما. بدنا كل شيء لكن هذا جبت حيت هاي اسكو الناس حاول هذا الشيء ممكن اسكو إيمانه مارته وحلو بهاي هرتو صالحان أرد ضد حكوليهن Somali is finished Somali is dead Somali is this Somali is that
إلهي بقى
exactly إلهي بقى إلى السنة سما لكن ضد حاجر على دباتة الصومالي هستا لكن أيجي ماله فضيان
ما they don't care about ولا ضدك
يا وحي قرايان ما على وحنا جروح على قبته وأذيجا ما استاكوا حقبتي أنا ممكن فكرتها أركي
ولا كوفي شوب إسكاشر أنا كبر داوني ولا while the youth, yeah, the little nephews and their sons are out there shot in Class A, you understand? marka la xiro yahay inankayga baa la xiray garanaysa ama inanteedii baa la dilay ama inankayga baa laga dilay
انت تكلم عشانين انت تكلم عشانين
ma cishanaya wallahi ka tahay
كور waxaa sameeyay joogo hadda maalin hore yar oo Soomaaliya oo gaari wada u soo duubay dhalinyaro Soomaaliya oo dagaal gari rabta dhalinyaro yar waaya caruur waaya adiga nux su'aal wuxuu diinay wuxuu yiri hooyooyinkoodii aawe aabayaasha aan markaan yara aabahii hooyadii aabuhu ku aaday meesha sheexa soo bax riyaa taska wada liga waayo dib waay asada liga waayo maxda liga waayo dib waay haddii guriga saacad baa liqoon waqtiisa
that's how it is for all the youngest well you understand you only realize this year markaad kortii wada waalidkii iyo waday kala dan for you you understand iyo hadalkayga waxay kaaga wada macamaday ku wadaan iyo all this marka weenaati you think back and then you understand why they were doing all this.
The Somalis now divided into two, yeah? You've got the Somalis who are very strict on their kids, right? And there are those who give their kids too much freedom. There's too much freedom to enjoy, too much freedom to do whatever they want to the extent they forget why they had kids at the end of the day.
What's the point of having kids for all
exactly.
You're not going to guide them to all the deen to their future, their well-being. What's the point of
like you said, for example, like you said, like the father is just chilling, melu iska fadhiya, shaah iska cabaya, next thing you know, wiilkaaga la dilay. Ama gabadhaada la xoogay. Allah gabadhaydii haddu baraaruga. Inta kale waxa kama ka warqabin. That's too much freedom. Aaba waxa rabo la socdo wariya xageeysa meel hebel. qof wallahi billahi in lagu socdo waay laakiin aniga waxa waa inaad dishid oo ku qaylisid oo dhibaato oo xabsi gelisid lama rabo
my brother wala ya waalidnimada ma waalid the parents they don't understand what is boy wuxuu sameeyay young grandson wuxuu ku jiraba you know what I mean no kid will come no young will tell him that your mom working and what not and then do the complete other they're doing a complete other thing ma fahanti they're out shooting and what not hooyo abi xiliga xada ka timi xaga suuqasan ka imi they don't know what's going on in their life fariisan maayaan jaamacadaadii iskuulkaaga xagee maraysaa ma fahantay shaqada ka waran there's none of that walaalo
wallahi fiican way
because walaal aqligii magarasa ay dadkin waayay haystaan waa kii wadankii waayeen reer Soomaaliya magarasa ama reer wherever land you come from ma fahantay wixii ba dhaqankii baa isku mid ahayn wax kale iska ilo wallahi I'm being serious wow ana soo ku soo koray you understand so
wallahi
how wait to tell like no one's addressing it let's be honest
wallahi aniga I come to the park every day every Sunday
Somali ba Jamaican bismeesayo Jamaican be ku deerayaan
wallahi waxa Somali
ma saday saf from who Jamaican people sheeg saa malahi
waxa
laakiin waxaan soo in ya lagtayo dhaqankeena ma ma fahanti
dhaqankeena ma
iyo waxaan heesahay dadku waxna dhageysanayaan iyo dadku hablaan qaawinayo waxa shaqo isku leeyihiin ma fahanti
wallahi waxa soo xamaano ka hadlay maalan waxaan dhaqanaa أنا Somali بانهاي وحاجرو لقى كم تقنا هذا القصار ممكن نقطعها هبل ومدوي هاي أما نيك مدوي ممكن لها وأنا وحاكمنا قف جركي سمدوي هاي وعسكر مدوي أنا ومدوي هاي خالي جرك مدوي متقنا ودي كرتا يمدي مدوي ودي كرتا لكن ما كانت معنا أريج مدوي معنى كله يشي بتكلا قاتي أو صراحة جميكان هقاتانو نيجيريان هقاتانو وحين تسكم أنتي قاتين دقن كله يشي
هذا horta Jamaican dhaqan ay xashid cabay dhaqan bay u tahay magarasa is for them laakiin marka qof kale dhaqankiisa ku daynaysid sidoo mariyo xidhayo sidoo dhaqmayo walaalayaa adigu waad lahayn waxas waa nacasnimo
wallahi ma la raka ilaa maan waxa dhaqana dhaqankeeni waxa ka doorbidnay dhaqan kale
that's what it is we need to understand the Caribbean walaalayaa dhaqan has a big influence not just over Somalis atuba hindida cadaanka all over UK walaalo magarasa I don't know why ما فهمت أنا دقن له ضد كله كده يتيد you know what I mean don't get me wrong but once upon a time I was like that but I'm telling you what it is and how it is
you're right
yeah
mashallah come join us wallahi oo bahana wadaada oo bahana we talking about dhaqanka Soomaalida dhalinyarada hooyooyinka iyo dhibaatada haysta UK what do you think or what do you think the solution is whatever that the Somalis are facing including religion dhaqan what is the most basic or most essential thing that we need
Somali people are Muslim people.
100%.
Somalia is a Muslim nation. Yeah?
But right now we can't say all Somalis are Muslims. We've got atheists in Imane.
Somalia as a country,
as
a nation, as a people,
our
dhaqan is one that is Islam.
True.
Islamic. We're Muslim people. All of the mashakil and all of the problems that come as a result of the fitna that we as human beings start, whether it's Somalis or Afghanis or Algerians, whoever, is the fact that we leave our deen, Islam. And I think as a nasiha to everybody, the best thing is to go back to the way that the Prophet ﷺ taught us. The Arabs at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the pagan Meccans, Mushrikeen, were people not too dissimilar to us. There were people who were treacherous, people who had corruption, people that would kill each other, that would go to war with each other. The Arabs had wars for decades. Yeah? Some guy steals someone's camel, some guy's goat. 10 generations later, his great-great-grandchildren are slitting each other's throats. And they don't know why. The one who's being killed doesn't know why he's being killed. The one who's doing the killing doesn't know why he's doing the killing. Yeah? So this jahl, this era of jahiliyyah that we're in today, it's all as a result of the fact that we've abandoned our deen. Yeah? Now, Somalis generally, we're people that are, if you will, moderates. We're not too extreme. We don't like to be too extreme in terms of ghulu, in terms of deen. Yeah? We're very liberal oriented, if you will. Okay. Yeah? Like, let things be. Yeah. That's how we are. Yeah. I think that has caused a lot of problems in our community. Yeah? Because we're too lax. Prophet ﷺ was a person who was balanced in all of his matters. He was a person who loved where he came from, his land, if you will. When he was leaving Mecca, the Prophet ﷺ was sad. Yeah. Understandably so. Yeah, and you can imagine how happy he was when he went back. Yeah? But the point that I'm trying to make is, without waffling too much,
That's right.
the Prophet ﷺ, he came with a message. He came to a people that were in an era of jahiliyyah. People who were corrupt and evil. The way that he took them out of that jahiliyyah was not through asabiyah, it was not through nationalism or tribalism. They had their tribes, fine. Having tribes in Islam is not an issue, that's not a problem.
Unless you have an issue.
Having culture in Islam is not an issue. Yeah? Being happy or proud, for lack of a better word, being proud of where you come from is not an issue. I'm saying when that is made to be more important than your akhirah, we're here today. You might be Afghani, you might be Somali, you might be Algerian, whatever. Tomorrow you're going to be in the same ground as everybody else. You hate an Ethiopian just for the fact of him being an Ethiopian. You hate an Eritrean just for the fact of him being an Eritrean. That's jahiliyyah. You hate Fulan for being from a certain tribe. I'm from this tribe, this guy's lower than me because he's from that tribe. That's jahiliyyah. The way that the Prophet ﷺ remedied this, first and foremost, was calling the people to what is more important than the mashakil between you and me. Their connection between them and their Rabb. The qulub of the Somali people, wallahi, it is tainted beyond measure. And the only way that they're going to soften their hearts and clean their hearts is going back to the Sunnah. Following the very man who took those pagan Meccans out of the jahiliyyah that they were in. That's the only way. Yeah? And usually what I find with Somalis, because we're very cultural people, they make this into a very, it's not very, it's low in their list of priorities. It's not a big thing. Okay, we're Muslims. What's the problem? I'm a Muslim, I pray Salah 5 times a day. That's not the point. The point is that if you are practicing your deen and it is not making you a better human being, you're still killing your brother, you're still backbiting your brother, you're still slandering your brother, and yet you say, I'm a practicing Muslim, I pray 5 times a day, that's an issue. Your Islam means nothing to you.
You want to say something?
No,
so we need to be Muslims of substance, not just names. My name can be Abdi whatever, Abdi Wali, Abdullah, Abdul Ahad, whatever.
You know,
it doesn't benefit me if I'm not practicing the Sunnah.
I've received a lot of brothers, a lot of
Sorry.
Somali brothers, non-Somali brothers, who are against the name being a Somali or having a flag. like they'll be like it's asabiyah, you know, it's haram, it's this, it's that, and I'm just saying this is a symbol of where I'm from. I'm not hating nobody, and I'm not saying that anybody's beneath me, but I'm just proud of who I am, where I'm from, and this flag represents me. Just like Saudi Arabia it has a flag, right? So, what would you say of that? Do you think it's bad? What's your idea of like someone having a flag or having a country or?
Again, let's take our example back to the best of examples, the best human being, the Prophet ﷺ. He was a person who had a tribe, he had a lineage, he had a land that he was from. He was from Mecca. Yeah? As soon as he came with the Risala, the message, and the Nubuwah, he didn't throw that away. He didn't say, I'm no longer from Quraysh. He didn't say, I'm no longer from Mecca. He kept those things. Islam didn't come to wipe away the culture of the people. In fact, it came to raise the culture of the people, make it better.
Like Somalis.
Those things in our culture that are wrong, that are corrupt and evil, we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, this is wrong, this is corrupt, and it's evil. Those things that are
let me
fine.
For a minute, because when you said it came to make cultures better,
Yeah.
I've remembered, because I read a lot of Somali history.
Yeah.
I've remembered the Somali history from the 7th century until the 18th century.
Okay.
It was booming. It just became great, right? We had sultanates and empires who were who were powerful beyond measure. Now, at the same time, as soon as because like that was Islam, right? And we were the reason why East Africa, most of it's Muslims, right? And also the Maldives Island, many places. Now, as soon as our people, around the 1900s, that's when the Europeans came to Somalia, and they influenced Somali people with these political ideas that they have, the political of the Western system. Since we started fearing them and we took them as saviors, not Allah. We gave them respect, not Allah. We followed them, not the Deen. That's when we collapsed.
Well, look at Somalia.
So you have a good point.
Look at Somalia today. We have a parliament. Where did the parliamentary system come from?
It's not from
It's
us.
not an African thing.
It's
not a Somali thing. It came. Waka. There you go.
You know what I mean?
We have a tradition. Exactly. It was a concept. It was a concept that was imported from Europe, specifically the land that we're standing on right now, just a few miles away. The mother of parliaments is Westminster. That's where we got it from. This is not a Somali concept. We have prime ministers and we have presidents who heard of this before
kings and queens
who heard of this concept before colonization. So yes, we have a lot of issues with regards to foreign concepts being imported into our country and into our land generally as Africans. And we have become, mentally speaking, the physical chains may be gone. There you go. There's no physical force, generally speaking, unless you count Amson in Somalia. There's no physical force chaining us up. But mentally speaking, we are still slaves.
True.
We have
this. And the worst kind of slaves. Slaves that don't know that they are slaves.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, this is natural.
If a person doesn't know he's a slave, how is he going to rid himself of those shackles? It's not going to happen. In terms of us believing in ourselves, in our culture, and in our own ability to govern ourselves, that's not there at all.
It is your prerogative.
We're there begging America and Britain to help us. This is not how the Muslim is Aslan. Imagine the Prophet ﷺ.
Go on.
Imagine the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca fighting the Quraysh, going to the Romans and saying to them, look, we have all of these problems, come and give us some of what you have so we can fix our problems. Did he do that? No. He stuck to...
Sorry, you speak of mental slavery. Is them doing anything to help to liberate us from mental slavery? I'm never like us. I'm thinking about African black people. No, they're busy integrating. They said the prophet didn't just come for black people. He came for everybody. There's lesbian and everybody. And they love to integrate into Europe. If I tell them let us integrate into Africa, no! They don't have time for that. when they was cleaning in Medina, the Prophet tell them go to the land of Abyssinia. So I think we should get first priority. Is that asking for too much? We struggle with mental
Where do you not pray? Where do you not pray?
Islam doing nothing to liberate us. Is Islam doing anything to liberate us?
Absolutely.
Hello.
What liberated the Arabs in the time of the Prophet ﷺ was Islam. What made and created the golden era,
Islam helped to liberate them because
the
they were
golden
barbarians
era,
before Islam came
what
on
raised
the
the
scene.
Arabs in the golden era was Islam and holding on to what the Prophet ﷺ came.
Brother, where are we going to pray?
Because they said they were colonizing my people in Africa, right? And then some people have it is debatable. Then they said the Prophet came and civilized them, or liberated them. So now they are liberated. They still own Morocco, they still own Tunisia, Algeria. They own North Africa.
The Libyans own Libya. The Moroccans
And they don't
own
treat us as
Morocco.
equal. They
What
don't
he's
treat
trying to
us as
say,
equal.
what he's trying to say is that before the Arabs,
He's saying that Islam, just like Christianity and Judaism, they're foreign concepts. They came just like colonization.
Without
That's what you're saying.
invitation.
I disagree with it. I disagree with it.
because look, for example, Somalis before the concept, we only accept the concept in it because before
Islam, by the way, is not
There is a thin line.
Islam
There
doesn't
is
have a
thin
color.
line between
Islam is
and
not a religion which is Arab. This is the misconception. Islam is not an Arab religion. Just like Judaism
I'm a
is
student,
not
right? I like to learn. I'm saying, coming from the diaspora, right? The West Indies. And then just recently, hello, there is no mosque in the Caribbean. No Quran. If you find
I
Quran
know
in the
Muslims from
Caribbean,
the
you
Caribbean.
could count them on one hand, right? If they come into the UK now, you meet these people and it's like, when you study about the Arabs colonization in Africa, there is a thin line between Islam and Arabs, right? But when you mention that it is Islam that liberated the Arabs, because that sounds like it is a version. Because when they was colonizing Africa, that means they were not liberated.
who was colonizing
they,
Arabs.
The Arabs.
they did not colonize Somalia, for example. For example, the Deen came to us, we heard it, we took it. You get me? So when the Sahabas came to Somalia, Zayla, for example, which is a Somali city right
The
now,
version in East Africa might be different to West Africa. Like places like Timbuktu in Mali. They dominate in a lot of places. They fought the Ethiopians, a lot of versions with Arabs and Ethiopians fighting. The Ethiopians run them back over the sea, they run the Ethiopians back over the Red Sea. They had this thing going on and on. And that was then. Today it's like, there's enough love for everyone. But even
History is history.
the history
I'm
is
telling you, from the time of the first man that came on this earth until the Prophet, peace be upon him, the message of all those prophets and messengers was one and the same. Are you going? Why are you acting like you don't know me, like? Scary.
we need a United
it was one
States
and the
of
same.
Africa.
trying to come back to us. We had a subject before you
I'm
came.
trying to.
Yeah, one love.
We're gonna finish our subject, yeah? Okay, but we were talking about, come back to where we're going.
Yeah.
So we're talking about history.
We thought the Somalis are mentally chained. They have their mindset is a European mindset. I'm saying in terms of how we treat each other on a human level, in terms of how we conduct our politics, how we conduct our society in Somalia, all of that should go back to us being Muslims. And Islam, contrary to popular opinion amongst people, is not a religion, quote unquote, that has a particular color. It's not like the white man, the Christian, came to Africa, like the saying goes, he gave me his religion.
What's the Bible?
He gave me his religion and I had the land. I closed my eyes.
Now he said, close your eyes and pray.
There you go, close your eyes and pray.
When I open my eyes,
He had the land and I had the Bible, the religion. Islam is not like that. Yeah, Islam is not like
for
that.
example, if that was the case, then Somalia would have been filled with Arabs, and we would have been speaking Arabic.
Like I said before,
You know what I mean?
Islam is not the religion of the Arabs.
He's God and man, right?
Arabs have no more right or claim to Islam than I as a black African do. This is the religion, the deen that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that is not enough for us, wallahi there is not going to be anything that is going to be enough for us. Umar radiallahu anhu, who was, as the Prophet ﷺ said, if there had been a prophet after me, there had been a prophet after me, it would have been Umar. Umar was the best man from amongst the companions after Abu Bakr. What did he say? I'm paraphrasing here. In terms of what raised the izzah of the people before and what is going to raise the izzah of the people now, if it's not the same as what the people before was raised by, then you are not going to be raised by anything else. Meaning, if you want izzah, if you want honor and glory, if you want Allah to make you people who are blessed on the land, go back to your deen. Politics, whether it be communist politics or it be capitalist politics, if you want a federal state or you want a feudal state, none of this is going to benefit the Somali people unless they go back to their deen. What preserved those people before, the Sahaba and the students of the Sahaba and their students, what raised the izzah of those people, what made them go into the lands of Persia and into the lands of Rome and conquer Constantinople, was Islam. It was Islam. What raised the Turkish people and created the great Ottoman Empire was Islam. What made us so rich, and have all of these sultanates and all of these kingdoms, etc., was Islam.
We were rich before.
We got rid of all of that. Timbuktu, he said. Mali, what raised those people? Islam.
True, Timbuktu specifically, yeah.
And I'm not just talking about dunya, money.
When it comes to Somalia, Somalia
We
talking
need to
about
raise our consciousness.
And you're right. But when it comes to that's right. Now, what I used to spoke really well, I like that. There's like a lot of people I spoke to, whenever I speak to them about Somalia, straight away, without talking to me, Asabiya. One time, I don't know if you know about Suleiman, the black brother. Suleiman.
I don't come here often.
Alright, you must have seen him on
I'm from the
YouTube.
smallest one named Montserrat.
Probably.
Yeah, he's a
I see his
Salafi.
face.
He's a Salafi. But that's what he says he is. But anyways,
For the volcano eruption.
I was just walking by every time I used to carry a Somali flag, yeah?
Okay.
So he just comes to me like, Asabiya, you're dividing the Ummah. Bro, how am I dividing the Ummah? Not only him, on YouTube, right? Basically, when it comes to people who just see me just walking by with a Somali flag, Asabiya. And there are those who are hyper proud, like too much proud, like they hate other people. And there are those who just reject the whole thing.
Everything in balance.
Yeah. But coming back to your point,
Prophet was
before
a man
Islam,
of balance.
yeah, but before Islam, we had wealth, but we just didn't have, we lacked the wealth of Iman. Because after Islam, when Islam came to us, we were united. But before Islam, we all had our own different tribes and here and there. And also there was, we worshipped gods and we fought over gods, you know, like Waq and, you know, many other gods that we fought over. But when Islam came to us, there's only one God, there's no point of fighting. To the extent, before Islam, there were tribes against tribes who were fighting over gods and different idols. And then Islam comes, and then you have, for example, the dervish or many other sultanates. When their brothers in the north or in the south were being humiliated, they would send armies to support them. For example, when Bimal was suffering, Sayyid Abdullah Hassan sent soldiers to Bimal to defeat the Taliban. And while Sayyid was down, the Bimal was there to help him. These are two different tribes helping each other. But back in the days, it wasn't like that. You get me? So coming back to your point, you're right on the aspect of being greater in Islam, one God and one religion. Yeah. But you were saying something before that. I interrupted you. I was asking about the flag, nationalistic.
I'll be there in a few minutes.
I was talking about flags and nationalism. Hiba. Flag there are those who are too proud to be Somali. I'm proud. Like,
Have you taken numbers down? Get all the boys' numbers. Anyone
have you taken a number?
the ones who told me to take, even these young boys, we're going to get, because each person that we speak to will spread the vibe, the energy will spread. So even if they're not going to be volunteering, just to know this information, to tell their mothers about what we talked about, the RSHE, all of this information to spread it. Do you know what I mean?
That's what the matter.
I'm gonna walk around.
Ibashar, yeah. Marco Fante. Marco, how what I was trying to say is that what do you think of those people like those who are too extreme and those who are
Extremism.
extreme in Islam, extreme in nationalism?
Oh, I like that word. Sorry, extreme. I don't want to be interrupted, but I heard the word extreme.
Yeah.
I like watching Peace TV. Dr. Zakir Naik is one of my
Solution
favorite.
to humanity.
Yeah, these things when he speak about extreme, he say, I am extremely kind. What is wrong about that?
Yeah.
You know, extremely can be used, it have it advantage and it disadvantage. But anyway,
I'm
Dr.
saying
Zakir Naik bring it across.
I would put forward that extremism in anything is wrong.
It's wrong.
Even being extremely
Be
nice.
kind. Yeah.
Why?
Especially in the UK, they take it for weakness.
No. I'm saying be kind when you need to be kind.
Yeah, not to be extreme.
Be harsh when you need to be harsh. Everything in its proper place. That's wisdom.
The balance,
That's
yeah.
what the Prophet taught us. Balance. Wisdom. Yeah. The reason why some of the Muslims or some of the people living in Muslim lands are in the situation that they are in today is because of this very concept. Extremism. Being extreme in tribalism, being extreme in nationalism, being extreme. Some of them are extremely kind. They were so extremely kind that they let invaders come into their country. Trojan horses welcomed them, and those very invaders colonized them.
Killed them as well.
That's how it started off.
For example,
It's just business.
But
It's
then
just
again,
business.
it is not criminal to be kind, right? African people, black people, we are kind-hearted people. The Arabs came, we give them red carpet, we welcome them. And you know we like go hunting, we trust them. Leave them with our wife and children and go hunting. When you come back, you see them crying and you know there's something wrong. They rape the children, molest the man, rape wife, children. The Arabs do it, then the white man came do the same thing. We trust them. We're very good with trusting each other, but we don't trust each other. If you is a doctor, you set up a clinic in a black community.
See, the history of being cunning, tricky, thieves and stealing and robbing, this has always been the history of the Western world. Like if you go back, for example,
I think it's part of human history.
No.
Yeah. This is
let me
what I
go-
mean
okay,
by.
Wait. Let me correct myself.
Go on.
The reason why I said that it's true, it's part of the human history, but also, for example,
I don't want to seem like I'm hating on everything that the West brings.
I'm not.
Yeah?
I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Yeah, if we go back to the age of Christianity and let's say a few thousand years from now, right? What you would see is that, for example, they used religion as a form of oppression, as a form of to put others down and to put themselves up on their own people.
Yes.
They were killing each other. And when it came to poverty, it was beyond measure, right? To the extent that they were like, you know what? We need to go find something. So they would come, for example, even their popes, even their leaders were liars. For example, one of the popes, before they invaded Jerusalem, he said that I had a dream from Jesus. He told me that Christians in Jerusalem are being killed, Bibles are being pissed over. He just said bare lies, right? So they gathered as much army as they could. They came to Jerusalem,
But would you
and
say
they
that
killed.
is-
And you know what? They killed their own Christian brothers.
Would you say that is a concept which is specific to where that Pope comes from?
I'll say
The West.
the Western world. I'll say why I would say that. Yeah.
Because
for example,
Africans are human beings too.
I know they are.
People
I know
from
they
the
are.
Caribbean are human beings
But
too.
with Africa,
We have corruption.
I know we do.
We lie
now
and
we
cheat
do.
and
Now
steal.
we do.
So we didn't before.
Now we do. I'll tell you why. Yeah. Before,
This is what I mean by, if you would let me, this is what I mean by everything in balance. There are people that, and I'm not saying it's you, there are people that go to extremes on both sides, because extremism doesn't just go one way. They go to extremes in terms of raising themselves and their people up so high and mighty, where they forget themselves and they forget that they are human beings too. The Somali people are human beings. They are no better than a British, I as a Somali am no better than a British white man. simply
excuse.
for the virtue of me being black
let me interrupt
or
you one
African or Somali.
Wait, let me interrupt you one second.
This is a concept that the Prophet, peace be upon him, came to abolish.
Okay, let me quote you for
A
example.
black man is no better than a white man.
Okay, that's different.
A white
That's-
man is no better than a black man, except in
in faith. I
in
understand what you
piety,
mean.
in faith,
piety.
iman.
Piety.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Okay, that what you said is
So
good.
yes, the Pope may have lied,
No, wait. What you said
but
is good.
African kings are
Okay,
lied to.
I'm a Somali, right? I'm a Somali, right?
Yes.
As a Somali, I have a certain DNA or behavior or something that has been. It's
And I
in my
could give you
blood.
examples,
What's
sorry.
it? It's in my blood. It's in my mind. It's who I am. For example, I'm naturally inclined into poetry.
Okay.
I don't like living one place forever because I have this nomadic lifestyle. I like to move about. I like to go to places, right? And I like to travel. Also, I like Somalis. I like animals. I'm more connected to nature. I wouldn't harm nature, but I'd rather preserve nature.
Neither your child.
Right? Or my child. Now, that is in my DNA. That's who I am. That's who I've always been. Me and nature, me and the world, we're one. Right? That's something, apart from when it comes to, there's always been tribal wars. All over around the world. There's always been tribal wars. But there were ways that were dealt with. For example, in Somalia, before a tribal war happened, they used to exchange what? Poetry. Right? Whoever feels like they lost the poet, what's it called, the battle of poetry, they would either, if they sit back and not fight, they'll be seen as what? Losers. But if they fight to defend themselves with then weapons, then that at least they fought and they didn't back down from the poetry loss. Yeah. Now that is a Somali culture. But coming back to let's say England, America,
Do you believe that Somalis are?
Spanish.
Do you believe that Somalis, simply for the fact of them being Somali, are more virtuous than a person from France or Britain, etc.?
What do you mean virtuous? Be more specific.
In terms of his
behavior and his character.
Yeah, his character. Are you better just because? Are
I'm
you
not
better than a
better.
white man just because you're Somali? That's
I'm
my
not
question.
better than a white man.
Okay.
Nor is the white man better than me.
Okay.
But-
the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you were going in a certain direction, talking about the Pope and the white man, the Westerners. You said being better. Sorry, the Westerners have being thieves, being treacherous, etc., etc. You gave a list. That's why I bring this up.
If this version with Jacob, you know the Jacob story. If the white man was man-made, and we is from the Almighty Creator.
Sorry?
There is a version that said that the white man is man-made. It was some scientist by the name of Jacob that went on the Isles of Patmos and used discovered that the black man have a positive gene and a negative gene.
Do you believe this?
It is debatable. You understand that?
Coming back to my point.
You should be a politician.
Wait,
You never heard of Jacob?
One sec. Coming back to my point, yeah. Now, the reason why I have stated what I have stated about Somalis and stuff, yeah, I'm showing you the traditions, the different cultures between the two worlds. Like West and Africa, these are two different worlds.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They do not have any connection when it comes to culture and a way of life. Totally different.
Just like everybody else. Allah
Oh,
created human beings different.
I'm talking about Africa and the Western world. These are two separate worlds. You get me?
Okay.
But the case of Arabs is different. Because the case of Arabs in Africa, Arabs have, when it comes to, for example, when the Arabs came to Somalia to talk about Islam and to give us Islam, they couldn't fight us. They couldn't do it with war or with sword. Simply because of many things. We had some sort of we were nomads like them, right? We had goats and camels and many stuff, and we were as hostile as they were when it comes to tribal war. So in that sense, we connected in many. Also, Yemen is right next to Somalia, and in many other major centuries, there was a time that Himyar, a Omani and Yemeni kingdom, ruled over Somalia. There were times the Somalis ruled over Yemen. So there's a difference, right? When it comes to Arab and Africa, there was this interaction here and there, and there was no the Arabs did not do as much damage that they have done. that the Western world has done, Caucasian has done to Africa.
Sorry, and they have a history for killing black. I'm not speaking for Somalia. I'm speaking on behalf of black people. That means that covers Somali, East Africa, the whole continent. White people have a history for killing black people. Black people do not have a history for killing white people.
Now,
that is one. Number two,
human
white
beings have a history for killing human beings.
Yeah, I agree. White people have a history of they drink the most, consume the most alcohol on the planet. They eat the most bacon on the planet. They bomb Hiroshima. They commit the most atrocities on the planet.
Okay.
They kill millions, billions. They say they bomb Hiroshima, they bomb Kawasaki.
But what would be the point of singling those people out for these crimes?
We didn't single them out. By doing what they did, they singled themselves out. For example, look.
I talked before about colonization and the dhulm, the oppression that those people did on us, whether it's Somali specifically or Africans generally. That's known, that's history. Now, how I then treat those people or talk about those people, depends on what type of person I am. Am I a person who is extreme?
As usual.
Or am I a person, who
you don't have a choice. You have to love them and be kind to them.
And trying to be wise. It would not be wise to have a whole discussion on why white people or Europeans or Westerners, whatever you want to call them,
brother, listen,
are somehow
let me interrupt you,
more evil than Africans.
Well, let me interrupt you.
There's no point in that.
Let me interrupt you for a minute. Let's look into the Caucasian expansion, right? Because this is an expansion. You get me?
And it was hard labor. It's robbing and cheating.
Let's look into the Caucasian expansion compared to any other expansion.
Look,
right? Wait, one sec. Because there's a point I'm trying to make, Fidi. The reason why I'm
trying
saying,
to understand your point.
Okay, my point is this. My point is this.
They say we are equal. They are extremely rich. Why we are extremely
What happened in history happened.
Forget about history.
I believe in learning about history.
Everyone has
but there has
behavior.
to be a point.
For example,
if you don't learn from your mistake, you will repeat it.
Yes.
Sorry for interrupting.
Everyone has a behavior.
Yeah.
For example, Somalis, they are known to be harsh, aggressive, very resilient and resistant.
But those qualities are not specific to Somalis, would you agree?
And they're not specific to Somalis, but for example,
I'll
give you an
the
example.
qualities that you named before are not specific to
there are levels.
Europeans.
Okay, wallahi billah, let me tell you something, Okay, I would say it's specific to Somalis, how about that? I'll tell you why there's specific to Somalis. Let me tell you why.
Go on.
I'll give you an example of the white man, for example. When they came to Africa, they have picked down every single African country one by one. And it didn't take them that long to conquer them, to enslave them, to do them with a lot of crazy stuff.
Did they do that?
Do you know how
because they were white people? Because they were white.
It was because of that's their nature.
That's their DNA.
That's
right?
who they are. That's what they do.
This is the problem I have.
Look at the expansion.
This is the problem I have.
How many generals or how many major leaders have they lost in Somalia? I would say none, or I would say less in most of African countries.
Okay,
but they have lost so much.
What is the benefit of this?
What's the benefit of this?
I started off in the beginning for a specific reason. Talking about the solution. You mentioned Peace TV, the solution for humanity. The solution for the Somali people. The solution is not in obsessing over these kinds of things.
Like what?
The white man, as some people say, is the devil for virtue of him being white.
No.
You said DNA, you said nature.
That
is his nature, his DNA. Why? Because he is white. That is extreme. That is the asabiya, that the Prophet ﷺ came to abolish. That's the exact thing that the Prophet came to abolish.
That's true.
You may understand or know the words that the Prophet ﷺ said, that the white man is no better than the black man, etc. But you're not internalizing that in the way that you're speaking.
I'll tell you what, I'm not internalizing it. Let me tell you something.
I can mention the crimes of a specific people without attacking them for being them. They are human beings, just like everybody else, who do crimes. I as a Somali,
do you know tigers? Do you know tigers? Sorry,
if you're from
there is a
Somalia
tiger
and you
and there's a
just
extreme,
leopard.
bro.
What's that?
And you molest children,
Wait,
we have-
I don't want to
we
call
see
you a
this
nationalist,
text here.
but you're being very nationalistic right now.
There is a cheetah and there's a leopard.
Sorry, uncle.
Sorry,
We're not letting
there's
you
a
speak.
cheetah and there's a leopard, right?
Yeah.
They look alike, kind of, but also they kind of look different at the same time. They're both animal and they're both wild, right? But they both have different attributes. For example, a leopard
Yeah.
runs faster than a cheetah.
Yeah.
And that's within the DNA of the cheetah.
Yeah.
The cheetah cannot run as slow as a what? As
I concede the fact that different cultures.
Now, one trying to state.
One second.
One trying
Different
to state.
cultures have different attributes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No. But you're taking it to a different level.
Like
I'm
what?
saying, look, these attributes, some cultures are known to be harsher than others, no doubt. But the facts of the traits of harshness is not something specific to a culture. There's a difference here. You said that those attributes that you mentioned are specific to Somalis. That's wrong.
Like what?
You can have different levels, absolutely.
Different levels. I
Well,
never
Just
heard
like
of
the
Somali
attributes
do
of
not have a
treachery.
history of same-sex marriage. And I pray to God that I would never, them
hope
things
not.
would never would never
Human-
reach Somali or any part of the country.
Human beings.
I'll read it to you what a white man said. Wait, let me read it to you. I'll read to you what a white man said from his
The
own
world
mouth.
should not be.
You could sleep with
The
your daughter,
world-
you wouldn't even think of molesting your daughter.
Listen,
And you're
I'm trying
gonna
to.
man put the tongue in your mouth.
I'm telling you about balance. The world should not be split up into Somali, British, African, Asian. These things exist and they have their place, but it is not the be all and end all.
Listen to this. This is by one of the dickheads. Yeah. This is what he said. Somalis have no inferiority complexes, no wide-eyed worship of the white man's ways, and no fear of him, of his guns or of his official anger. They are a race to be admired if it's hard to love, right? So what he's trying to show you is that these people have attributes of which they have not yet, seen before, right? There are other African countries which, when they bowed down, as soon as they saw the guns and the fear, they were like, you know what, this is who we are, but we refused. To the extent, look, how long did the Italians take for them to take over Somalia, right? How long did the British take? Somalia was the first. Again, what I'm trying to tell you,
Being proud of where you come from.
come
If I may, I want to make this very
easy,
important point.
but I want to tell you the reason why I said.
Being proud of where you come from and your culture and your people and the history of your people is good. It's important. It has its place. But where you take that out of its proper place and you make it into, or you turn it into its extreme, that is where I have a problem. Okay?
Okay, what's extreme?
There's an issue that the Arabs had in the time of Jahiliyyah. And again, I'm bringing it back to the Prophet ﷺ and what he came with. Yeah? Why? Because what I started off with, what I'm saying now, is the solution for our people. It's not arguing over history and the sifat of different groups and tribes.
We have to though. We have to point out. For
In the
example,
time of Jahiliyyah,
you're not getting this.
in the time of Jahiliyyah, the people had a specific trait.
See the way you are right
that
now.
was-
see
and
the
that
way you
was-
are right now. You see, you're kind. You're everything. But our people,
But that's me
our forefathers.
individually, not because I'm Somali. That's my point.
I'm not saying
One
because you're
more.
Somali.
A white man
Fella.
can also be kind.
They are. But what I'm saying.
let me finish
See the
the
way
point,
you are
please.
right now. The way you are right now.
Yes.
This is how our ancestors were before their land got,
And so
destroyed
were
and
many of the
everything.
British. In the time of
But they're the
Jahiliyyah,
same guys that came to us and destroyed us.
some of them. In the
Sorry.
time of Jahiliyyah,
The calendar, the Western calendar is 2019. Can you both give me a little information on Somali calendar?
I don't know. I don't
You don't know?
We're people that
But
had
it-
oral tradition. We
Okay,
didn't
I'm
write
speaking
much
about
down.
Somali, Ethiopia, Eritrea. They have a history of 3.5 million years. If you have internet on your phone, you could find it. Rift Valley is East Africa, right? They found human remains in the Rift Valley, which is supposed to be close to Somalia and your people. So from the example, if the Europeans have a history of 2019 years, I say that doesn't make them inferior to us, right? But I think if we have a history of 3.5 million years, we're more advanced. And then when you get history about in Egypt, they had planes that fly maybe 100
This
feet.
comes to my exact point, the point that I wanted to make. In the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or rather in the time before the Prophet, in the time of Jahiliyyah, in the time of ignorance, the people had a specific issue or problem. Many problems. This specific issue or problem was the fact that they had self-amazement. Ujub. This is a sifa which human beings generally have. It's not specific to Arabs, it's not specific to Africans, it's not specific to Europeans. Self-amazement, which then turns into pride and arrogance, yeah. What that leads to is this exact kind of conversation. I am Somali, alhamdulillah, Allah made me Somali. If He had made me British and He had given me white skin, alhamdulillah, Allah made me British and gave me white skin. At the end of the day, I'm either going to the nar, to the hellfire, or I'm going to Jannah. It doesn't matter what my color is. It has its place. It is important in its right and proper place. Yeah?
Sorry, them thing
But
is
what I'm
genuine.
trying to do is raise the conversation above all of these, excuse my words, but all of these petty conversations that we have on the Somali corner. Yeah, it's quite petty.
What do you mean?
Talking about this, me as a Somali person, being amazed at the fact that I am a Somali person, to the point where just to raise myself up and my people up, I have to put other people down. That's a problem.
That's not what we do.
And it's a sifa of Jahiliyyah.
Is that what we did right
That's
now?
exactly what you did.
How did I do it? Tell me. I've stated
You
facts.
talked about specific traits of which Somalis have.
Okay.
Specific traits which Europeans have.
Okay.
What are the traits you mentioned? Among them, truthfulness.
Come take over everything from your
God, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Bro, you don't even know
Listen.
that. You know all these words. So how can you get authority from something that's written that you're unaware of? What if they're not written? No. Okay. Where do they exist then? And there are also yeah, there must be. Yeah, statutes though, if I understand it, they're a government level thing. Yeah. But, and maybe